Hello and welcome to Brain Buddy's Parent and Carer Bite-Size Info Session 6. This week the children looked at thinking like a brain buddy, and they started off the session as always with their body scan first and then the body clues check-in. This is where the children look at their energy levels at the start of the session and notice the heart rate, their body temperature, their breathing, whether it's fast or slow, whether they're taking in short little breaths or deep long breaths, and also noticing their muscles, whether they feel tight or relaxed, and where they can notice this. It's about paying attention to what they can feel and where they can feel it. Today the children looked at their thoughts and emotions. When we first met, we talked about how our emotions, how we feel in our bodies, and what we do and what we think are all connected. When we change one, it can change the others. The Brain Buddy skills so far have helped change how we feel in our bodies as a way of helping our emotions feel bigger or smaller and to help our thinking brain stay connected. We've learnt that how we breathe, move, and what we focus on can all change our energy levels and how calm and in control we feel. Today we explored how our thoughts can be understood as how we talk to ourselves or self-talk. Sometimes the things we say to ourselves in our thoughts are helpful and sometimes they're not. So people can have different thoughts about the same thing, and sometimes new information can make us think differently about things. So what is a thought? We all have thoughts. So thoughts are words we say to ourselves without saying them out loud, that is self-talk. Other people can't tell what you're thinking unless you tell them. So we have thoughts all of the time. Some self-talk or thoughts make it more likely that we will flip our lid. Thoughts like something really bad is going to happen or I can't cope with this will trigger our guard dog survival brain and send our bodies into fight, flight or freeze mode. This can feel really scary in our bodies and make us have even more unhelpful thoughts. We talked the children through some examples such as this one on the PowerPoint, highlighting that the situation is the same for both children, but they ended up feeling differently because of their thoughts. So the situation here is that another child says something mean to you at school, and at the top, one possible thought is, this is my fault. The other kid wouldn't be so mean if I were more fun. And the child is thinking, I'm feeling sad, which leads them to feel a little bit down, feel tired, paying attention to the things that they don't like about themselves and also wanting to be alone. So another possible thought is, this isn't my fault, the other kid just likes making people feel bad, which makes this child feel angry. So in turn, their physical response is clenching their fists, they experience a fast heart rate, and also they pay attention to the things that they don't like about that other child, so wanting to be mean to the other kid. So the Brain Buddy skill here is spotting body clues and unhelpful self-talk before we flip our lids. So the children were reminded of the steps. So the first step is to slow down, use calming strategies to give their thinking brains a chance to get back online, and then spot the unhelpful thought. So we encourage the children to ask themselves the following questions. Is that thought realistic? And is that thought helpful? So we also reminded the children that a thought is not a fact and that it just might be the guard dog survival brain panicking for no good reason. So we identified helpful thoughts such as the examples on the slide. We focused on positive things about ourselves, such as saying to ourselves, I'm a kind person, I'm sure I'll make some friends in the end. Also focusing on our strengths and successes. I'm good at working things out in maths, and I'm sure I'll be able to work out the science project. And also focusing on our achievements. Even though I felt nervous, I still managed to ask a question last week in class. And last but not least, focus on coping and being successful. So, for example, saying to ourselves, this is really hard right now, but I'm sure I can do it if I keep trying. So we also looked at unhelpful thoughts. So for example, negative, unhelpful thoughts will make us feel critical of ourselves or what we do. And in turn, we will say things like, I always muck up in the end. There's no point trying. which will then in turn predict that we won't cope or be successful. And we may say, I can't do this, I'm never going to learn now. And then that will actually make us focus on the things that will go wrong or aren't right. For example, I really messed that pass up in football today, instead of focusing on, say, a positive thing that they did in football. So we noticed helpful thoughts are a good way of beating the brain basher. And also we identified that thoughts are not facts, and we can make our self-talk more helpful if we try. And we focused on and identified that what we think affects what we feel and do, but what we do and feel also affect what we think. And brain body skills are there to help us feel more calm and in control in what we think, feel and do. And thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next week in session 7.